What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video on my channel. I wanted to do just a really quick account showcase prior to the 3.0 update for Sumeru coming out. Just a little bit of a quick background about my account. So I started playing October 10th of 2020, so that was about 3 weeks after release. I did miss the very first banner, which was Venti, so I started on the Klee banner for anybody who was back then and doesn't know exactly when that was. Since then, I've played every single day, and my bare minimum that I do every day is basically like the daily missions on the battle pass, right? So pretty much every day I will log in, complete my commissions, send my expeditions to get the items and use up all my resin. On a day where I know I'm going to be busy, I'll save up and make sure that I can just use condensed resin. But other days I'll farm bosses or whatever. But generally, my a day in the life sort of looks like log in, do my commissions, do artifact domains, call it good. Lately, I have also been farming ley lines and just not cashing them in because I don't have the trophy for the maximum number of ley lines yet. And I don't know if this is confirmed, but I think it is true that enemies that spawn for ley lines seem to have better drop rates than regular enemies. So it seems to be just a better way to get items. All right.
There's still a lot left to
And I am
do.
our AR60 as I mentioned. I have 95 fragile resin. I actually had 99 a couple days ago, but I decided to use some because I was worried that it wouldn't go past 100, and I couldn't find confirmation whether or not that happens. If anybody knows, let me know. I still have both these billet troves. I haven't cashed those in. Of course, I have all my animoculi, geoculi, electroculi. I got all the crimson agate, um, and I'm just right now I'm banking wishes for uh, the new patch release because I think that's just best practice. I did find out that Tignari is going to go into the standard summon pool, so I'm not rolling on him, and so I'm going to hold on my Acquaint Fates until he's in the standard banner. I've got 113 Dream Solvent and 1100 Dust of Athos. I've never used either of these. If anybody knows what they're for, let me know. I think they're important, but I just don't use them. Um, and then as far as mats go, I've got a ton of experience books. I pretty much buy every Hero's Wit and every Wanderer's Advice from the Serena Teapot every week, as well as the Fragile Resin, and that's basically it. That's what I buy. I don't do any farming to bank up boss materials, so all the overworld boss materials, all the like chunks and slivers and whatnot, as well as talent books and weapon essential materials, I don't ever farm these in advance. I only farm them when I need them, because to me, like I just feel like it's easy to be patient and just say like, okay, um, I'm building this character. It'll take me a week to finish them. It's not the end of the world. So, oh, and you guys can't see it, but I have 1.19 million Mora. Maybe you can see it. And right now I'm on 11,000 Primo Gems. I think that's like some of it. I definitely bought some of those, but I'm chilling on them for now. Let's see what else is interesting to look at before I get to my characters. Ooh, I have to do my Parametric Transformer. Good to keep that in mind. So billets. I actually have 6 sword, 8 bow, 8 claymore, 13 catalyst, and 11 polearm. And I have made a fair number. So I actually like have an R5 catalyst weapon that you can forge that Kokomi's holding. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Prototype Amber, I think. So um, yeah. Anyway, I don't really farm most of the stuff. I do farm the bosses every week. I still do all of them every week. So I have a ton of talent ascension materials. I'm not really running low on any of them. And I'll probably continue to farm them. The rewards are really good, and I like fighting the bosses, and I feel like they probably lower the resin costs like sooner rather than later once Sumeru comes out. Okay, so let's go to the meat of the uh, account review here, which is the characters. So I do own every character. Um, Almost all of my 4-star characters are at C6. So if we go over here to my lesser used characters, you can see Toma's C6, Lisa only C1, so I know that's like a point of pride for some people, are like the free characters. My Lisa C1, my Kaya is C2, my Amber is C1. Yeah, unfortunately for me. But everybody else who's been on a banner recently is C6. Kuki Shinobu, I only have C1 though. Hazo, I only have C0. I'm missing a couple constellations for Goro And I think that's it. Oh, I don't have C6 Sara yet. Actually, that one's important. You can't really use. I mean, you can use Sara, but she gets a really big power spike from C6, so I'll get her eventually. But yeah, so I have I would say about like I have like 15 or 20 characters I would consider like built. Um, in terms of like usable in Spiral Abyss, I think it's probably 12 or 13. The rest of those that I would consider built, like I can definitely use them in the overworld. They're just not quite all the way up to Spiral Abyss standards. And then everybody else isn't quite there, but I'm working on it. I do have everybody at least level 50 to get those first two uh, wishes out of them, and I want to get them all to 70 to get the final Acquaint Fates. That's my primary goal is to get everybody to level 70, and then after that I want to get everybody to 80 out of 90, have them fully built with a full artifact set and a level 90 weapon. And like level 6 talents, except for if they have like one talent that's better, I would get them to like level 8 talents. That's sort of my end game goal. So all of these characters are not built yet. Hazo is actually coming. He's on the list. We'll get to that in a minute. And if we are going up the line, the first built character, Bennett is not built at all. He's got some like mediocre noblesse pieces, most of which are level 20. This one is not level 20. It's also not noblesse. It's the off piece. It's not even level 20. And he's holding a level 70 Favonius sword. His talents are 144, and he's still honestly probably the fifth strongest character on my account, just because Bennett's so broken. All right, so Xinyon is technically built. I don't really use her anymore, but I used her a lot when I was first starting to play through the story. I have her at C6. Her talents are at 299, and she's basically a shield and heal bot. So she's holding an R5 sacrificial grade sword. She almost always gets to use her E twice. And then her ultimate or her artifact like build is all towards super high damage ultimates. So she's 2-piece noblesse, 2-piece bloodstained chivalry for physical damage, and her stats are 54 109. So pretty decent ratio here, but just not great numbers. But yeah, she does like okay damage. I think her ult does like 18k, which is like pretty good, but it's not amazing. Okay, moving right along. Sucrose is not built yet. Sayu's not built yet. Ningguang's not built yet. I actually had a full DPS Ningguang on my second account. When I first started playing the game, I had 2 accounts that I played on every day. It was way too much. Nowadays, I probably could play 2 accounts, but when Sumeru comes out, I won't have time to play 2 accounts. But I had a full DPS Ningguang on that account, so I haven't really built her on this account yet, but she's getting there. Yunjin is a work in progress. She's C6. I haven't gotten to her talents yet, but her husk pieces are okay. I just need to get their crit rate up and then I'm going to put a Favonius Lance on her for energy recharge. She's holding a deathmatch right now, so that's 36 extra crit rate. So I just need more crit rate basically on her. But she's going to go with Yoimiya because I think they combo really well. But she's not really built yet. Diluc is built like overworld wise. Like he absolutely messes stuff up in the overworld. He's not really good enough for Spiral Abyss yet. And he's outclassed by a bunch of my prior characters anyway, so he's holding a Serpent Spine. His artifacts are okay, but I think they're too high on crit rate right now. Yeah, he's at 97 150, so honestly all I need to do is just switch his circlet. Oh no, wait, this is 62. This is a crit damage circlet. Whoa, he's got a ton of extra crit rate. Okay, I probably need to do a little bit of finagling. Yeah, it's like this feather's like 10% crit rate. This attack stance is 13% crit rate. Yeah, he needs a little bit of 11, but he's pretty much built. He is C2. I've never rolled for D-Look on purpose. This is all just lost 50-50s. And I do not have his outfit. So I am a whale. I will say I've spent probably $1,500 on this game, I think, since I started playing. Which, $1,500 over 2 years isn't the wildest thing in the world. But I don't buy the outfits for characters that I don't really play. Which the three like the 3 premium outfits, Jean, Diluc, and Keqing, I don't really play them very much, so I haven't bought the outfits for them. All right, Mona, is Mona built? I don't think she is. She's got a decent emblem set on her, and she's C4 actually. I have a ton of constellations for Mona. Of course, like I said, never rolled for her on purpose. Her talents are at 1, 2, 9. She's holding an Oathstone RA level 80, 42, 133, 224 energy recharge. So she's close. She's got a hydro damage bonus goblet. So she's like kind of built. I don't really use her that much. Because I use Kokomi for hydro application. Kokomi, Xingqiu, and Yelan. And I have them all built, so I don't really use Mono that much. Yami Miko I don't have built. Aika is also getting there. So her constellation, she's constellation 0. She's at 666 talents. Right now I've got her on 2-piece Blizzard Star, 2-piece Noblesse. I'm farming Blizzard Star right now. I'm actually looking for crit damage circlets and better sands pieces, and I'm hoping to randomly get like a crowd damage goblet out of Blizzard Star. But I'm going to put 4-piece Blizzard Star on her to go with her Mist Splitter Reforged, and then she'll actually be ready to go. But she's not quite there yet. Right now she's at 28,253. So great crit damage, way not enough crit rate without Blizzard Star. With Blizzard Star, this is close. I think you need 40% crit rate with Blizzard Star is probably what you're aiming for. So okay, Chi-Chi is not really built. I used to use Chi-Chi an absolute ton, but Kokomi and Jean outperform her, so I don't really use her anymore. I do like Chi-Chi though. She's got a sacrificial sword. I'm keeping my eye on Chi-Chi. One day she'll be better. 47, 120, 31% healing bonus with Ocean Hued Clam. I think she can proc it. She definitely proc it if she hits a sigil, where her auto attacks are also healing. She can get the maximum Ocean Hued Clam damage. Oh, and she's C2. So this is 3 lost 50/50s. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 lost 50/50s. 12, 13, 14, 15. And then Kutching 16, 17. I actually did roll for Kutching when she was on a banner. So I've lost 17 50/50s. It's kind of a lot, actually. It's insane. Okay, next built character. Shandha is getting there. She's on her way. I probably need a better weapon for her. I got the Wavebreaker's Fin on her right now. It has really good base attack for a 4-star weapon. Like, it's only 50 less than a 5-star weapon, right? So it's not terrible. It does increase your attack as well. And increases her ult damage. And her attributes-wise, she's at 2600 attack, which is pretty good. I think you probably want to aim for 3000 with Shandha, is my guess. But yeah, 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Human Allies. So basically, right now, I will show her off right now. I use Rosaria as my support for Ganyu because I need to pass crit rate to Ganyu. And my Rosaria, it gets over 100% crit rate very easily. She's at 78 right now, and she's got Blizzard Strayer, which is 20% extra. And then if she ever hits from behind with her ultimate, that's 12%, or with her ability, that's 12% extra. So that's over 100, right? And then she passes 15% of that. Max capped at 15. So she's always passing 15% crit rate to my Ganyu. Once my Ganyu sort of like becomes god tier more than she is now, and I don't need to pass crit rate to her, then I'll probably swap Shandha out for Rosaria in my rotations. But anyway, Rosaria is rocking the Jade Wing Spear, 4-piece Blizzard Spear. Like I said, she's C6, of course. She's at 666. These can be better for sure. I could upgrade her talents. But like I said, 78, 137. And the reason I'm rolling farming Blizzard Soraya right now is because actually she's got about 10 more crit rate than she needs. Now that I have the Primordial Jade Wind Spear, I didn't used to have this, so she will get about 32% crit rate just on her own being on the field with Blizzard Sprayer and using her E ability. And that pops her up to 100. So she really only needs 68% crit rate. She got 78. So my goal is to get her down to 68% crit rate and boost a bunch of her crit damage so she does more damage. Okay, Albedo I do have built. I don't use him all that much because I don't usually need to, but he combos really well with Noelle, right? Noelle plus Beto, or Noelle plus Albedo is a good good combo for a lot of like Abyss floors. Of course, I have the Sinbar Spindle. You can see he's got 2400 defense. I think that's okay. I think that's pretty good. I don't know what number you're supposed to really shoot for, but he's got a pretty decent Husk of Opulent Dreams set, so he's sitting at 42, 116, which isn't the best crit rate, crit damage, but it's decent. He could probably go up on ratio there, C0, and then he's level 7. That's kind of the only thing he uses, but he definitely pulls his weight, even though he's kind of like only partially built. I would say he's at like 60, 65% damage potential, would be my guess. All right, so Yelan I'm pretty proud of because I literally, when I got her, I literally just put on Emblem of Severed Fate pieces I already had, and she's like 85% damage potential. She's really strong. So she's got an Aqua Simulacra. This bow is absolutely nuts. She's running 4-piece emblem with an HP percent, sands, off-piece, hydro damage goblet, crit rate, crit damage circlet. And her numbers are 85% crit rate, 198 crit damage. So quite good. Obviously, this can be better, of course. It can always be better. But it's 29,000 HP, 85, 198. So really, really like insane damage. And I literally spent 0 time farming for her at all. I just had the pieces already. She's at 278. I'll probably get this to 9 once I ascend her to 80 of 90. Okay, Jean. Jean is like my secondary healer. She's kind of crap. She's holding on to the Festering Desire, which is pretty good. And her E does a lot of damage, especially if you swirl. And then she's got 2-piece Viridescent and 2-piece Noblesse. I'll probably go full Noblesse with her. I am keeping an eye on the Elemental Mastery set from Sumeru because that one might be better. Her numbers are pretty bad though. 2885 is pretty bad. So she's got a little bit of healing bonus, got a little bit of energy recharge, decent attack, but she basically just ults and heals your whole team, so does her job. All right, Shangling I just finished, so she's in a really good spot now. She's got Dragon's Bane and Crimson Witch. If I end up getting Engulfing Lightning, or if there's another weapon that's similar, I may switch over to Emblem, but I haven't farmed that domain in a while, so we'll see. But overall, her stats are 53, 164, a little low on crit rate, but still pretty good. EM is at 337, about 200 of that is from her weapon, but 177 energy recharge, so there's a little bit of room for growth here in terms of like her crit rate ratio and then her energy recharge, but overall, and her elemental mastery, but overall, I feel pretty good about it. And she's of course C6, and she's at 668. So she's pulling her weight. Okay, Xingqiu is also built, and he's getting slowly and but surely replaced by Yelan because I basically just use him with Hooter in the Spiral Abyss. But he's at 579 on his talents, C6 because he's a 4-star. He's running 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Heart of Depth, which I like this build. And then he's got Sacrificial Sword, level 90 R5. I like this build because he just does so much damage with his ult. It's really, really good. And he only, like, his ult rotation isn't that long, right? Or it is pretty long, so, like, it lasts longer than the Noblesse buff, so I just like this build. And his numbers are 68, 144, so pretty respectable. 223 energy recharge is pretty good, too. His elemental mastery is only at 40, could definitely be higher, but in most cases he's applying enough hydro that Hooter is doing reverse vapes, and that is basically her job. All right, Noelle is also built as a full DPS. She's my tertiary DPS. Hooter and Ganyu are my first like primary and secondary. And she has 2,000 defense, which is pretty good, 1,300 attack, which is like okay. I'm sure there are some Ito mains and probably some Noelle mains as well that have better stats than me. But overall, pretty decent. She's running Redhorn Stone Thresher. I really like this weapon for Noelle. It's super, super good. And I am running her with a 4-piece Gladiator. So I'm getting a bunch of stacking bonuses that make up for my stats. She's C6, of course, and my Noelle actually is 1099, so she's very close to triple crowned. I don't know if I'll ever triple crown her. It sort of depends, keeping my options open. But basically, her numbers are 68, 250, which is really, really good, right? 250 crit damage is great. A lot of that's from the Stone Thresher, but it's still great. And then, of course, with the 2,000 defense, she's getting a ton of bonus damage. So she hits like 11k attacks when she's ulting, like 11k, 13, 14, whatever, something like that. Okay, so Klee is kind of like one of my only builds. It's like fully built, but kind of a meme. So it's support Klee, and I think people don't really use her like this, but I like her because she has so much pyro application with her bombs. So it's R5 level 90 sacrificial fragments. She is running Crimson Witch of Flames. And she uses her ult 3 times in quick succession, which is increases her damage a ton, right? It fully stacks this immediately. Increases 50% of the starting value of her pyro damage 3 times, which is great. She's at C0. I probably won't ever get constellations for her. Talents are 686. Her rotation is basically like swap onto the field, ult, and then skill 3 times, and then swap off. And her numbers are at 66, 119, 493 elemental mastery, which is quite good, and then of course 90% pyro damage. And so she does a lot of pyro damage, and I will pair her with frequently I'll pair her with like Ganyu, and Ganyu will do a bunch of reverse melt on all of the pyro application, and does a ton of damage. We're getting to Ganyu, don't worry. Okay, next up is Hutao. Hutao's my secondary DPS. I actually switched, so she's running most of these Crimson Witch pieces are like my second best Crimson Witch pieces. In some cases third best because Klee and Shangling have like the first and second best. But the thing about these Crimson Witch pieces is that almost all of them have like secondary stats that benefit Hu Tao. So there's a lot of HP on these. So like here's 16 HP percent. Here's some flat HP. Here's a bunch of HP. So Hu Tao actually can make use of HP stats, which is why she's got them. I think in an ideal world, she'd have a little bit less HP, a little bit better crit rate, crit damage. And actually more elemental mastery is the one thing that I'm looking at. Her sands is pretty bad and needs a boost. In fact, is this sands just straight better? Oh no, it's not. It's a little bit less crit rate, but it's more attack. I think the sands is better. I might switch. Yeah, let's just switch it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just made her better. Look at that. So, okay, so she's running 187 elemental mastery now. Crit rate 66 and 240 crit damage, so still quite good. She's still up at about 26,000 HP, which is great. I do have a Staff of Homa for her, which additionally makes those HP rolls better, right? She's C1, so I really like C1 Hu Tao. You know, it doesn't really increase her DPS. Some people did some tests, I think, when C1 or when Hu Tao was rerun last, and like the difference between C0 Hu Tao doing jump cancels and C1 Hu Tao doing dash cancels is like one more attack per cycle of your E, usually like one or maybe two. But for me, like being able to dash cancel and not run out of stamina just makes it so much easier to do. And like there are some things in this game that I'm good at, but I'm not really willing to sit there and put like infinite time into something just to be a little bit better at it. So I really like her C1. And she is at 10-10-9, so she's very close to triple crown. I actually haven't crowned her ult because I don't use it that much in the Spiral Abyss. What's interesting is like over the course of 3 floors, you're just trying to get Hu Tao to lose HP so she does more damage, and she clears every wave in like one cycle anyway. So if you are using your ult, you're just getting much of HP back, and it doesn't really speed up your clear, at least not enough that you actually need to use your ult. And then you just do less damage in the next floor, so I don't really ult with her very much. All right. So my Kokomi is my primary healer, and she's not fully built. Actually, I mean she is. She's got everything, but she could be better because a bunch of these Ocean Hued Climb pieces have like crit damage on them. Let's see. Yeah, so this one is 20% crit damage. This one is 20% crit damage. So the funny thing is, it's really hard to farm for Kokomi because her pieces are just like only good on her. I mean, they're kind of okay on like Barbara and Diona a little bit. But for the most part, like it's just really weird to not want any crit at all. So she's hard to farm for. I haven't farmed Ocean Hued Clam all that much. I haven't farmed that domain a huge amount. So she's got a little bit of room for improvement in terms of her circlet and her flower feather because they have like a literal dead stat on them. But for the most part, she does pretty well. She's at 35,000 HP. She's holding an R5 prototype Amber. So I actually have this R5 Amber and I still have 13 Catalyst bullets left. So I have a lot of those. And she's at C0. Her constellations, like, they're cool, but I don't know. I don't use her as a driver that much, so I don't think her C1's usually worth it. And I don't generally shoot for more than just a C1 on 5-star characters. And then talents, she's at 798, so I'll probably get her up to 999 at some point. I do use her a fair bit. Kuching is not built. I'm sorry, Kuching mains. She's not there yet. I'm working on her, but I kind of like using this weapon, the new one, the Kagotsurube Ishin. I think it looks really cool. And so right now I've got 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Thundering Fury with like a Fizz damage goblet. And her stats are like really sad, 58, 148. So we're getting there. She is C2. I do want to have my coaching built, but she's not really built right now. All right, Raiden Shogun, I just ascended to 80, and she's in an okay spot. The one thing is, I think her base attack needs to be higher, like her overall attack needs to be higher. I don't remember what, I don't exactly remember what it's supposed to be, but like I think you're supposed to have her attack at like 2000 if you can. But I'm pretty happy with her stats overall. So she's at 68, 125, and 285 energy recharge, which is pretty good. Four-piece emblem, of course. Oh, her goblet needs help. So she's running an attack percent goblet because it's got the best crit damage on it out of all my goblets, but that's just because my electro goblets are terrible. Um, like, yeah, like this one only has crit damage in 7.8. This one's also only crit damage. Like I just don't have any good electro goblets at all. Yeah, see that's it. I have 6 electro goblets and they're terrible. So anyway, that's sort of her improvement is electro goblet. She is C0. If she reruns, I don't know. I might go for C2. C2 is just so good, you know. But and she's at 688, so she's pretty much set. All right, next is the Traveler. So I actually really like using the Traveler for story stuff. It just feels right to use the Traveler instead of having somebody else just like turn into the Traveler every time you talk to somebody. She's got this Primordial Jade Cutter that I pulled off a weapon banner randomly, so she's kind of chilling. Right now I have her built physical damage. I actually like this build because it doesn't matter what element you're using, you're still useful. And you can like clear story content. C6 obviously. 8, 10, 10. I have her talents are somewhere, or I guess it's 877. Her talents are like this on the other two versions as well. I think they're all, I have level 8 talents on everybody basically, or something close to that. And right now her stats are 7158 with 1800 attack and 2 of the 2-piece physical damage. So she is definitely pulls her weight. All right, next up is Venti. So Venti is an interesting one. I have an artifact set that I was very happy with when I farmed it, but then right after I finished farming for it, they changed Swirl to, like that was when they changed Swirl so the Elemental Mastery is way more important for Animo than it was previously. And so he actually only has 100 Elemental Mastery on his build, but that's because he's at 62, 126 with 200 energy recharge. And it's actually because his crit numbers on his pieces are insane. So I have an Animo damage bonus goblet with crit rate, crit damage, and a bunch of attack percent, which is really, really good. I've got crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge, and attack percent sands. His mask circlet is the off piece, and this one's crit rate, 20% crit damage with energy recharge and attack percent, and then crit damage on feather and the flower. None of them are really like insane. There's nothing over like 40% in any of these crit rolls, but this is just a very solid VV set, but not for Venti anymore. So basically, my plan is I'm going to switch all these pieces over to Heizo eventually. When Sumeru comes out, I'm going to re-roll for a bunch of Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge for Iridescent Venerer pieces for Venti in the Strong Box. So, oh, and he's at C0. I would never roll for Constellations on him because his C1 is actually useless. C2 is like fine, but you're risking, going 400 wishes for C2 on a 5-star character. So not a risk I'm willing to take for Venti. Sorry, buddy. He's at 268. All right, so here's Fischl. She's at 1066 on her talents. Constellation 6. She's at 2800 attack. Fischl was the character I used the most playing through the game the first time. But I haven't really used her much since. And I kind of moved her stuff around. I used to run her physical damage, but Traveler's got all the physical damage stuff. She is holding one of my Skyward Harps, so her stats are pretty decent. 60, 177 is pretty decent. But she's really just like an off-field DPS like stat stick for Oz, basically, at this point. 2-piece Shimanawa, 2-piece Gladiator. And pretty decent crit damage, a lot of attack off of these artifacts. All right, moving on to Yoimiya. So I just finished building Yoimiya. She's like ready to go. Pretty happy with where she's at. She's got the other Skyward Harp, which is just, like I said, it's a crazy good stat stick. She's at 774. We're working on that. Probably want to go up to 99 and then probably 6 on her ult, but her ult's so bad I barely use it anyway. She's C0. I probably won't get any of her constellations. I don't think they're useful. Like they're very small DPS increases. I don't use her all that much anyway. Like in Spiral Abyss, I'm probably always going for Hooter over Yoimiya, except in very specific cases. And she's running 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Crimson Witch. I like this build a lot. I think I would probably go for Shimanoa's Reminiscence if I had good pieces, but I don't. But if I ever farm that domain again, I might be looking to swap her over to Shimanoa's. But for now, I think this is her second best, or maybe even her first best version. And stat-wise, she's at 75, 227, which is really, really nice. Like, just solid stats. She sits for like 13k crits on her N3 and N5. Just very solid. All right, Ganyu's going to be last, I think. So I'll just show off my kind of scuffed supports here. So Kazuha and Zhongli are basically in every team comp, right? And it's funny because they have kind of not great artifacts, and it just doesn't matter. They're so good anyway. My Kazuha's actually C1. I randomly got him rolling on that banner. I don't remember what. I think I was rolling for Heizo, which, by the way, you should never do. Don't roll for 4-star characters. Uh, But yeah, I was rolling for Heizo and I got C1 Kazuha, which actually I'm very grateful for because I think his C1's really fun and really good. He's at 696. I'll probably get everything up to like 8 or 9 at some point. Like his normal attack helps with his plunging attack damage, right? When he uses his E, so it's useful to level. He's got 4-piece Veritas Inventor. It's all EM main stat, except for this circlet, because I haven't farmed in a while. I don't have an EM main stat circlet, but it's EM main stat Goblet and Sands, and there's Elemental Mastery on every piece a little bit, and then there's a decent amount of crit rate, crit damage. So he's sitting on 806 Elemental Mastery, which I don't think is that good. I think you're supposed to have like 1200, and 31 172, so pretty low crit rate, but high crit damage. So he hits big crits, which is nice. And then I do have the Freedom Sworn for him. It's pretty insane. It's a really good weapon. And then Zhongli, same thing. I've got Staff of Homa, so like great weapon on him. He's really good in general. And then there's just Tenacity of the Millith, but like just totally scuffed artifacts. It's all HP percent, and then just like a bunch of random like flat HP and crit damage basically, and everything else, and a little bit of energy recharge here and there. Yeah, like this feather's at this feather's so silly. It's 311, so it's a attack, right? Obviously, and then you got HP percent, flat HP, energy recharge. That's it. Like there's a lot of room for improvement on him, but he's so good anyway. He just is at 45,000 HP and his shields are unbreakable. C0, I probably wouldn't get any constellations for him. And then 196, because I mostly just use his shield. Alright, and last but not least, is my Ganyu. Definitely not least. So, as you can see, triple crowned. Ganyu's my main. She's at level 82 and a half. I just use her in the overworld pretty much since I ascended her to level 80. Also, my only level 90 character is Fischl, and it was an accident. I didn't mean to get her to level 90. I ascended her, and I meant to level her up to like 85, and I accidentally leveled her up to 90. It was right when I finally hit the AR to do it, but anyway. So she is C1, and I am saving Primos right now for her next banner. I'm going to probably try to get her to C6. We'll see. I'm not going to spend like $1,000, but if I don't lose too many 50-50s, I may actually go for it. Triple Crown, like I said, she has an R2 Amos bow, so I got one, I rolled for one, and then I got one randomly, which was nice. And she is running the Wanderer's Troop build, so all charge attack damage. Cryo Goblet, crit damage Circlet, attack percent Sands, and a lot of crit damage on these pieces. You can see multiple 30% crit damage pieces. Her final stats are 26 to 55. So basically this isn't ideal, like this is still good, and she's at 2200 attack, so still quite good. I'm very proud of it. She doesn't crit as much as I wish she would, obviously. My improvements are basically she's got some pieces that have a couple dead stats, and I basically want those dead stats to roll into crit rate without losing any crit damage. Right now with Rosaria she gets up to 41% crit rate, which is decent. I kind of want to get her up to 40-ish, 40 or 50% crit rate on her own without losing crit damage. That's my goal. And that's pretty much it. So that's my account. Those are my characters. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to Sumeru. The thing I'm looking forward to the most, honestly, is the Artifact Strongbox. Having all the old artifact sets in it, because I've got, let's see, so 1100, but I'm probably going to spend some resin to farm it up before then. But I have like 500 artifacts that are like 5-star artifacts that are just ready to go for the Strongbox. So thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more Genshin Impact content, especially after 3.0 update. And feel free to leave a comment or like the video or subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thanks, and I'll see you later.